I am back for another stencil workshop. My name is Lucie Maycock and I am an artist, youth worker and community artist. And I am back today to do a continuation from our Crafternoon workshop last week, which was stenciling street art style part 1. And last week we did some lovely ratties. So we did this piece using lots of different stencils and some paint, and then we made Mr. Blended Ratty here using our lovely cutout stencil that we've got. So what we're going to do is we're going to do two things today. We're going to carry on with some of the rat themed artwork, and I'm going to show you one more way to use your stencil, this outer part of your stencil. And then we're going to move on to do some lettering. So I will pop these to one side and we will get started. So today we're going to need the similar materials to last week. So we're going to need white or coloured card. Now I've got white A3 paper, small coloured card, and I've got A3 card as well. But whatever you've got in the house that you can use will be fine. You're going to need scissors, check. Craft knife, check. Only use craft knife if you're an adult or you're an older young person that has got experience using craft knives. Make sure you do it safely. If you're not sure, ask for help. You're not going to need paint today, but you are going to need glue. So you can use a Pritt stick type glue or you can use PVA, either's fine. We're going to have a pencil and a rubber. You might not need the rubber. But if you do, it's just nice to have there just in case you go wrong. I'm also going to be using some felt pens. I've got some barrel pens here. I'm also going to be using a permanent marker, but a black felt pen is fine. And last but not least, glue tack. Check. So we're going to start with this fine fellow. So Mr. Ratty was the picture that we used as a starting point last week to make our stencils. And for those of you that missed the workshop, what we did is we traced the rat onto some thin cardboard, and we did that up against a window so you can see. That always helps with tracing round. And then we cut him out. So there's two different ways you can cut him out. You can either cut him out using scissors or you can cut him out using a craft knife. This one here, as I've labelled my template, is the one that's cut out with a craft knife. So we're going to be using him today to make another piece of artwork. So what we're going to need for this piece is some plain paper. You don't necessarily need white. You can use coloured paper, whatever you've got in the house. And we're going to be using the cutout rat from last time. If you haven't got one of these, then you can absolutely use any picture you'd like. Just trace it onto some cardboard and cut it out. And then we're going to be using this as our starting point. So let's have a look. Looking down at our paper, we are going to draw around the rat. So we're going to draw around him. I'm going to pop him in the middle at a bit of an angle, and I'm going to draw around Mr. Rat. Take your time, there is no rush. If you go wrong, it doesn't matter. You rub out your pencil lines where you've gone wrong. And I'm going to do his claws, just a fiddly bit. Hold it down with my finger. Now, what you can do, I'm actually holding this down with my hand, but you can actually use blue tack. So I'll show you on the next one how you can use blue tack to help you with this bit. So his tail. So his tail's quite tricky when we've not blue tacked him down. So I'm going to hold one side of his tail first and do that side. And then I'm going to hold the other side down and I'm going to go around this side. Right up, that's it, and then round the top of his head and round and down his back. So there we have one lovely rat, and we're going to do We're going to use Mr. Ratty again. So this time I'm going to show you just a little technique with blue tack to help you when you're drawing around things. So we're going to pop little bits of blue tack on here. On his tail. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop him down in a different position, overlapping over the top of the other rat. So let's pop him there. Press down. Just going to have a quick look to make sure I've not missed anyone's comments. So what we're going to do now is we're going to draw around Mr. Ratty again. Now, because he's blue tacked down, it's going to be a lot easier to draw around him. So we're going to draw around his head. So for those of you that tuned in last week, I'm sure you heard my beautiful daughter Luna in the background screaming away as her dad was trying to give her dinner. Well, I apologise again if you hear any loud screams. She's not very happy at the minute because she's teething. So everything seems to be a bit of a battle. So apologies if you do hear her screaming in the background. I promise she's fine. She's just a bit fed up because of her teeth. So we've gone round Mr. Ratty number 2. I'm going to take him off. There we go. And can you see how the picture has overlapped and there's all the different areas that merge into each other? So we're going to do that one more time. And I'll pop him here. So we want some nice areas where he overlaps. Let's position him there. Press down, and then once again, using our pencil, we can draw around Mr. Ratty. So once we've drawn around all of your templates, it could be a rat, it can be a picture of anything that you'd like. It could be something very simple. It could be something just like a shape, like a star, or it could be something really complicated. So that depends on how confident you are with your cutting out skills. So I have gone with a moderately hard template with my rat, my stencil. I didn't want to make it too hard, but I also like the image of the rat, and we all know that Banksy has used the rat in many of his pieces of graffiti art before, and so I think he kind of reflects the street art vibe really well. So as you can see, we've got the rat several times but layered on top of each other. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get some coloured pens. So let me just choose a few colours. I like purple and red. Right, so we've got a few colour pens, and what we're going to do is we're going to look inside for all the areas that overlap, and we're going to single those areas out. So I'm just going to choose this bit here, and I'm going to draw around the shape in the middle that it's created. So let's have a look. Now, when this is finished, it creates a beautiful abstract style piece of artwork. So as you can see in the middle there, I have just singled out one small part of that. So what we can do is we can start filling in each part. So we can do that, we could just colour it all in one colour, and we could go round and colour all the different bits in different colours, or we could do patterns. So I'm going to do a mixture of the two. So I'm going to do a bit of a stripe here that I'm just going to colour in a block colour. So as I've probably said, purple is my favourite colour, and my purple pen seems to be running out. So let me just grab another. Luckily, I have a very large box of pens because they do get used a lot and so tend to run out quite quickly. So I'm just going to colour that bit in. And then I'm going to do another stripe, and then I'm going to do zigzags. So you can go in here, you can just let your creativity run free and do whatever patterns, shapes and colours that you'd like. For this one, I'm going to stick all with purple for the whole area. Let's do some circles that all sit nicely together. And then I'm going to do some more colouring. And then I'm going to finish off with, let's do some more stripes. So any patterns or ways of decorating the area that you would like, have a go at. Experiment, be creative. So now I've done that part, I'm going to move on to another part. So we're going to do this part here. It's got part of the rat's head in it. So I'm going to draw around the outline first, like I did with the purple, just to show you how you pick out the shapes. So as the rats overlap with each other, it creates all these wonderful shapes within shapes. And we're going to use this bit here. So this bit of blue, I'm just going to colour in. I'm going to do up to Ratty's head there. I'm just going to colour it all in one colour. This is a great one to do at home because everybody can enjoy this. Colouring in is really therapeutic, and adult colouring books are all the rage now, aren't they? So some of you may have some of them at home. So I'm just going to do like a little shape within a shape here. That's it. So we've got number 2 section. So now I'm going to choose another colour, and I'm going to go with red this time. And I'm going to do this shape here that we've got. I think I'm just going to colour all this in red. The best thing about this activity and way of using your stencil is it's different every time. So you can literally experiment and do whatever you fancy doing at the time. You can just chill out, switch off and play around with the shapes. So we've got some red, and then I'm going to do, let's have a look at this area here. Sometimes it's quite hard to see the shapes, but I've done mine 3 times, so I've drawn over around my rat stencil 3 times, but you can do it more times. You can build it all up over the whole piece of paper. You can use different stencils. You don't have to use the same stencil. You could use different layers of different stencils. And it starts to build up a really lovely abstract style picture. So can you see that beautiful pattern in there? So abstract is a form of art that is very expressive, and it often doesn't show you, it's not like drawing a person. So often abstract art is where it's shapes and colours and designs and patterns, and they can all blend and move around into one. Whereas the picture of the rat is very, very straightforward. Once this is finished, he's not going to look like a rat. However, if you wanted to pick out an element of the rat within your work, what you're going to need is a black pen. So we're going to go back in to the design with a black pen, and I'm going to choose one of the rats in this picture to draw around. Now this is pretty hard to see, so I'm going to have to take my time to make sure I get it right. I'm going to have my little rat picture next to me as well so I can see. So I'm going to go for this one here, and I'm going to draw around the outline of the rat. And again, apologies, my pen is running out. Make sure I've got a pen that's better. So his face comes around here, and then to his claws. And then his tummy, more of his claws here. And his tail, let's have a look down here. So this bit gets a bit complicated. There we go, his tail. And then around the top of his ear and his back. Head, ear, there we go, face. So you can see here, I've just picked out one of the rats with a black outline, and that looks really nice. So you can finish it off. Let's just grab a couple more colours and I'll show you. We're just going to do his feet here green. I like red and green together. I think they look really great. And we're going to do his tail pink, I think. Pink, I think. That rhymes. So there's that part of his tail there, which is one part. I'm going to go in with the blue because he's got a bit of a stripy tail going on here with all these patterns. And I'm just going to alternate the pink and the blue for this bit. And that bit's blue there. So all we're looking to do is pick out the shapes within the shapes. And the bottom, his tail there. And then this long bit towards the end of his tail, and the pink again. And then go with blue. And then last but not least, pink. So we've got a bit of a striped tail going on. So what you will carry on doing from there is picking out all the different shapes that are within shapes, and you probably draw some more rats on as well that were overlapping, and you could pick out maybe one of them in black or a few of them in black. It's totally up to you, or you could just leave all the colours to merge into one. So that's another really fab way of using your the outer or even the inner part of your stencil to draw around. So these amazing stencils, once you've created them, you can use them again and again and again in lots of different ways. So that is the third technique for our stencils. And we're going to move on now to doing some lettering. So we're doing street art style theme, and a lot of people will see street art and they will think graffiti art. And there's a lot of the stuff that we do see around is to do with lettering. So we're going to have a go at doing our own lettering today. So I'm going to set Mr. Ratchet to one side. And what's the easiest thing to do for you guys would be if you go on the internet and you look at Google Images, you will be able to find some lovely street art alphabets. So this is just one that I've printed off. This gives a really nice different type of style with the lettering, and it also gives some fab ideas for colour and how to put your colour into your letters. There is so much out there for ideas and inspiration, so just have a quick look, and then you can either print it out or you can copy it directly from a screen. I've also printed this one out. I really like the style of this one. Often with graffiti lettering, you can't really always tell what it says. But with this, it's different. It's got the street style, but you can still tell what each letter is. So we're going to be using this style of letter today. So I have prepared some stencils, and I'm going to be doing my name. So I'm going to be doing Lucie. So you guys can do your names, or you could do a meaningful word, or you could do a present for somebody else's name, or whatever you'd like. So important thing to remember when you're drawing your stencils is how big is your piece of paper that you've got to work on. There's no good creating massive letters that don't fit on your paper. If you work really big, you can stick sheets of paper together. I'm going to be working on A3 today. So I've created my lettering, and I've done the majority of the letters already, because you guys don't really want to just sit and watch me cut out. I've used some old card, so I've just used card that I've drawn on the back of, because we're only going to be using these as templates. And I've copied an L. So I've copied an L in the style of this alphabet here that I showed you. So people that are really confident with their drawing skills, just go for your life, have a go, see how it works out. You can always rub it out, you can always tweak it and change it before you cut it out. Just because the first pencil line you make is made doesn't mean that you have to always stay with that line. You can change it around as you go along. So I have sat and I've copied the letter L onto this piece of card. And now all we're going to do is we're going to use scissors. So for the purposes of today, I'm just going to be using scissors, and we're going to be using the inside of the stencil. If you would like to, you could get one sheet of paper, do all of your letters on, and then cut it out with a craft knife, and then you can use your stencil in 2 different ways. But for the purposes of this workshop, we're going to be cutting out this one letter. So this is another fab little workshop, because once you have all of your letter stencils, you can use them again and again and again and again. So once you have your templates, you can just carry on experimenting. I do lots of workshops like this for younger children and teenagers, and I have a full alphabet, or several full alphabets in different styles of lettering that I use. So that if you really get into it, that's something that you could maybe do. You could do A to Z in your letters, and then you can do any words that you like. So I've got the letter L here. So we've got L, U, C, I haven't done the dot on the I didn't really want to, and E. So there is my name. And we're going to get a plain piece of paper. It could be coloured paper, white paper, whatever you like. And we are going to pop the stencils onto the paper. So you can use glue tack again to help hold your letters in place. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue tack onto the back of the letters. Just helps when you're drawing round. Again, if we were doing this workshop at Artcore with a group of people or wherever, then we would probably be using these stencils, and then we'd be using spray paints. But I'm pretty sure there's not going to be many of you guys that have got spray paints at home. So we're doing a different version using coloured pens. So there's the C, I. So the reason you can see black and white is because I've just used an old piece of card that had some graffiti lettering on. It looks quite cool though. Maybe that's a really cool idea for how to decorate your letters. You could do blocks of black and then leave your letters black and white instead of using colours. So that actually looks quite nice. So I'm going to pop the letters onto the paper. So because I've done my letters quite large, I find it very difficult to work small. I always end up creating things that are too big. We're going to overlap them slightly, okay? So overlapping here, but you can still tell what the individual letters are. So that's what you're going for. If you want to overlap, that's fine. If you want to be able to read the word, then you need to make sure that the bits that you're overlapping are going to you're still going to be able to tell what the word says. So the I think I might change the I in a minute. Let's see where the E fits. Oh no, that fits nicely on the end there. Just overlap that top bit there. There we go. So we've got my name stuck down. So very straightforward, really great simple ideas in this workshop. You don't need any particular perfect drawing skills or having done anything like this before to have a go. So what we're going to do is we're just literally going to draw around letters. If you have a rubber and you go wrong, you can always just rub out any errors. So going around the U and the C. This is a really nice activity to make some art for your windows. So with everything that's going on at the minute, I've seen lots of people doing really cool window art. Now, sometimes it seems to be the rainbow theme, which is very current. Sometimes it's just people saying thank you to our NHS and to our key workers. So you could use this style to do some awesome signs for your window to say thank you to everybody. And you could maybe decorate the letters with rainbows, which would be awesome. So there's another idea of how you can use this workshop. So right up to the beginning again, back to this. So we can take off all of our letters now. Right, so now we have our lovely letters. So, if you can see, it says Lucie. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it back around again so I can see from the top. And we can colour this in however we want. I'm going to use felt pens. And for the first letter, I'm going to use kind of a cakey donut type theme. So I'm going to start off with the pink. And I'm going to do a drip down here, like it's dripping of icing, all around the top, around the outline, like that. So I've just gone around the outline, and then I'm going to get some different colours, and I'm going to do some what look like hundreds and thousands. So I'm going to use 3 colours. We need pink in there. We haven't got a different pink, so we'll use. So I'm just going to do little lines that look like hundreds and thousands, sprinkles on top of the icing. So once I've put them on, I'm going to draw around each one. So when I come to colour it in, it's all neat. The thicker you make your sprinkles, the wider the pattern, the easier it is to see. I'm going to quickly change this one because you can't really see it, doesn't stand out very well. So we'll change the colour. So I'm going to go round, and then we're going to colour it in. So now we're going to colour in the icing all around your sprinkle, hundreds and thousands topping. And every pen I seem to pick today seems to be running out, so let's get a different pink. Try that one, that's better. So all the way around, we're just going to colour that bit in. Really great if you guys wanted to share any of the artwork that you're creating on the in the comments. That would be fab. I'd love to see it. Oh, I had a post from somebody. Ah, fabulous. Somebody's just come to join in and have a look. So we're going to carry on colouring the pink bit. Fabulous. So now we have icing style pink drippy topping on the L, and I'm going to go in with the brown next, and the brown is going to go on the bottom part of the L. So I'm going to go round the outline just like this. I'm going to draw a line there, would be the bit of the L. I'm going to go up to the icing and then round it. I've seen someone do lettering. Oh, there's so many different ideas and patterns you can use. Flames looks brilliant. If you use a yellow, an orange and a red to do some flames on the bottom or the top of your letters, and then the rest of the letter you colour in black, that always looks fabulous. The black and the colours really pop and it really stands out really well. If you're not sure how to draw flames, then just Google. Go on Google Images, type in flames cartoon or flames illustration, and you could just have a go at copying. If you're not sure how to do it out your head, just have a go. Have a look at what somebody else has done and have a go at copying it. If you're feeling really confident, then just get stuck in and have a go at doing the flames just out of your head. So I'm coloring in quite quickly because obviously I'm sure you guys don't want to just sit and watch me colour for half an hour. There we go. So now we have a donut cakey style L. So I'm going to do one more idea for a design, and let's have a look. What am I going to do? I'm going to do two colours that kind of blend a little bit into each other. So you can't blend things properly because the felt pens, these pens don't blend. But what you can do is create an effect like the blending. So I've got purple and red, and I'm going to do like a spiky bit here, a bit spikier than the icing, and I'm going to do the top half purple. So we're just going to colour in this top half. I'm not having much luck with my pens today. I think everyone I seem to choose seems to be running out. That's better. Probably time to go through the big box of pens and test which ones are working. So really quickly, just colouring in the U. You can also use the technique that I used earlier with the rat, all the different patterns and shapes and colours. So you could do one letter in a multitude of different colours and patterns and shapes. Possibilities are endless. So there's the purple, and then I'm going to go in with the red, and I'll do the outline first. So I'm just going to make that bit there of the U where it joins, and then I'm going to go around the outline, and then I'm going to go in with the red. So once I've done this letter, I'm going to just show you how to make a shadow effect on your lettering. I'm not going to finish off my name today because just a couple of letters gives you an idea of what we're after. So we're going down with the red all the way down to the bottom. There we go. Probably not the neatest of colouring in, but speedy colouring in. And then I'm going to go back with the purple. And where I've done the spikes, I'm just going to do some more downward strokes. So it kind of looks like the colour is bleeding into the red ever so slightly. Like that. So it gives it a bit of a kind of messier edge. Okay. So I'm going to get my permanent marker pen, but you could just use a black felt pen, and I'm going to go around the outside of each letter. Okay, so I'm going to go, don't do it all in one, do it in sections. So I'm doing the top half to there. Doesn't matter if you slightly miss the edge, you can make your line thicker to cover up any mistakes. I'm going to leave it where they meet in the middle, and I'm going to come down this side and up, across and down again, and I'm going to do the same for my U. So I'm going to go all the way around. So when you're doing any type of graffiti style lettering, I always like to do black outlines. You don't have to. I think it really makes the colours that you use pop. And in a minute, oh, that's a squeaky noise. That's not very nice. I'm going to show you how to do your shadows. So around the bottom, like that. So what you need to think about when you are doing any shadows is I want you to imagine that the sun is shining on your letters. So I'm going to say the sun is shining from this direction. So shadows are going to be cast on this side, and this side of the letters. So imagine where the sun's shining and where the shadows would be cast. So we're going to start off with the L, and I'm going to come in down this side, and I'm going to draw a thicker outline like that. Then I'm just going to colour it in. All the way down. So it doesn't matter if you haven't got a marker pen, just use a black felt pen. My black felt pens I think have all run out because it's just a colour that I always use a lot of. Don't worry if it goes off the edge of the paper, that's fine. Bottom there. So we've got a shadow that's cast on this side. So I'm also going to do a little bit of a shadow here. So there's the L. And then I'm going to come to the U. And we're going to do the shadow down this side. So it's going to be down this side of the U. And also in the middle here, there would also be a shadow cast. Once you start thinking about it, it takes time to get your head around, but once you start thinking about it, it's fairly straightforward. So that is one way of using your lovely lettering stencils. And like I said, you can use so many different types of variation of colours and techniques. You could carry on, if it's something that you enjoy, you carry on doing this in different ways for ages without getting bored. So I'm not going to do the whole name because you get the idea from the first two. I'm going to move on now to show you one more way to use your stencils. So let's set this to one side, and then we're going to be using coloured card for this. So I have got orange, yellow and green. So I've used the stencils that we cut out earlier, and I've placed them onto my pieces of card. I've drawn around the letters, and then we've cut them out. So this is the last letter I need to cut out, which is the letter E. So we're just going to cut out the last letter. I like rounded edges when it comes to lettering. So I've rounded off some of the edges so they're not really sharp. And that really suits this style of lettering that I've used. E is probably the trickiest one to, let's get rid of this excess cardboard, that helps. The E is probably the trickiest one to cut out, so I'll just do a bit of speed cutting here. It's another thing that I love doing, chills me out, and I could sit and do for hours. I could just sit and cut out. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who would agree. So as I'm going around, I'm just trying to round off the edges so they're not too pointy. And that's nearly finished. You could have a mixture of pointy edges and rounded edges as well. That looks really nice. So we've got my name again in different colours. So all we've done is drawn around on different colour piece of paper, or this is actually card, but you can use paper, and you have we've cut them out. So plain piece of paper again, and this time we're going to stick them down. Okay, so I'm going to use a Pritt stick, but you can use PVA. If you're going to use PVA, use it sparingly, because what you don't want is lots of glue spilling over. So we're just going to glue the back of the letters and stick them down. Oh, I've just glued that the wrong way. Oh, I have another letter. That's it. I'm not concentrating. Apologies. I've just literally glued the wrong side of the L. So if I stick it down, it's going to be backwards. My first error. So we're going to go to one that I prepared earlier, where I've done the L, the U, and then we're just going to do the C. Here's one I prepared earlier. So there we go. We're going to stick it down. I'm going to overlap it slightly. So C, and then the I. If you want to, you can put a piece of paper down on your table when you're doing the gluing, so you don't get glue all over your table. And then the glue doesn't transfer onto your work as well. It's always a good tip. And then I. And then last but not least, the E. So make sure I get it the right way around this time, Lucy. Yep, right way around. I love doing the live workshops because it just shows that none of us are perfect and we all make mistakes. And sometimes when we're doing art, the mistakes are the best bit. Sometimes that is what I call a happy accident. So we've got all of the letters all stuck down, and we're going to carry on doing this shadow effect here. So as you can see, I've gone around with the black pen again, and I've gone down each side to give a really nice shadow. So this is something that you can use, and you can do it simple, plain colours like this. You can draw on top of it, you can do patterns in it, you can do backgrounds, you can experiment and be as creative as you'd like. So we're going to go back in with the marker pen. Thank you for everybody's comments. Cutting out stencils is awesome, I agree. Oh, I've just made a mistake because I'm looking at my screen, but it doesn't matter. So let's see. Onto the eye. Take your time doing this because it's really easy to do what I've just done and make a mistake and have the line go into your letters, but I'm going to show you how we can style that out in a minute. Like I said, sometimes it's happy accidents when we make a mistake. There we go, round the E, and what we're going to do is we're going to go in with the shadows again. So we've got sun shining from this direction here, so it's going across. So all the shadows are on that side of the letters. So this side of the C, we're going to do a nice shadow there. I'm going to leave the bits that overlap because I quite like them just as they are. And then we're going to come down here and do a bit more of a shadow on the C here. So what this does, it makes your 2D art pop a little bit and it makes it look more three-dimensional. Any age groups can have a go at this, which is another reason why I chose it for my workshop, because it's a really lovely, straightforward, accessible activity. families can all get involved in. So on the side of my eye, I'm going to leave that bit, and then the E. So I'm going to go in this part of the E here. Swap pens. And then there'll be a little bit there and a little bit there. So now you can see we've got that lovely stencil lettering. It's graffiti art style with the shadows, so it looks really three-dimensional. Now, can you see where I've gone wrong here? Well, we're going to style that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that into a quick design. So I'm going to go in there, just some little wedges, as I call them. Stick a few wedges in and make that one there look like it was done on purpose. It's almost a bit like a tiger, really. So we're going to go in little triangle wedges. I'm going to alternate which side I do it on. So we'll do one here, one in the corner, one at the top, down here. And then that adds a really cool pattern to your letters that actually I hadn't planned showing you. But looking at it now, it looks really cool. So happy accident for sure. I'll add one there, one there, one there. And last but not least on the E, we'll add one here. My cat has decided to make an appearance, so she might be gate crashing the screen. She likes to be involved. Fab. So what we have created is some awesome lettering. Now, as you can see, those little stripy bits, they're like a tiger, they look really funky. So you can have a go at doing any types of patterns and shapes and designs on top of your coloured letters. Cutting them out from coloured card is just easy because you can stick them straight on. You don't have to be colouring them all in, and it gives a really nice finish. So where with your felt pens, the pens can look a little bit messy at times, this looks really, really nice. So that has brought us to the end of my Stencil Part 2 workshop. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and I really hope that you guys can have a go. And please, like I said, please share your work. It'd be awesome to see some of what people are creating in the comments. And I'm going to be introducing, so on Artcore, we've got tomorrow, there is an online video session on Zoom with Connie Burley. So if that's something that you might be interested in, get in touch with Artcore, something that there might be still spaces left for. So that's going to be awesome. And then Thursday, they're going to be doing another Crafternoon with Jo Dilleridge. I hope I've said that right. And she is going to be making key rings and handbag charms. So please check it out. There is some absolutely fantastic, wonderful work being done online through Artcore at the minute. And there's so much for people to use and get out of. Right, well, that's me done. And I'd like to say goodbye, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.